Good afternoon, everybody. Students online, can you hear me and see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Nadia, can you hear me and see the screen?
Yes, sir. I hear you, sir.
I can see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Good. All right, so we're gonna be doing some geometry construction today. Now, geometry construction is a topic that used to come on every exam paper, and it used to come with the sets question almost every year. But I find that in recent times they don't set it every year anymore. Right? It might come with one of the measurement questions, but they don't set it anymore. But it still can come on the exam paper. Ever so often they still bring a geometry construction on the paper. And they are kind of a bit more modified as compared to what they used to set in the past. All right. I think this is because they have cut the paper to 10 questions. And so the geometry construction is one of the short topics that they have taken off. So the geometry construction is to come with the sets. And because the text sets off the paper two, sets is now only on paper one. They only put geometry construction now sometimes with the measurement question. I got it apart. So you're not gonna see it so much. But we still have to learn. We still have to learn geometry construction and be able to do certain basic construction, right? If I kind of recall the things that we have to be able to do, if I can recall them and write them out over here and never do them. You have to be able to divide a circle into 60-degree arcs. Break up a circle into 60-degree arcs. You have to be able to bisect an angle. To be able to bisect a line. And cut them in half. You have to be able to construct 60-degree angles. And then this will bisect into a 30-degree angle. So if you want to construct at 30 degrees, construct at 60 degrees and then bisect it. You have to also be able to construct 90-degree angles, and then that can be bisected into 45-degree angles. We have to be able to construct a perpendicular from a point to a line, and we have to be able to construct parallel through a point. To a line. To a line. We have to be able to inscribe circle in a triangle. We have to be able to circumscribe a circle on a triangle, over a triangle. And then you have to be able to construct triangle given 3 sides. That's what I remember. Have to be able to do for this stuff. All right, that is it. You divide a circle into 60-degree arcs. So you understand that each time you draw an arc from a point on a circumference, you're creating a 60-degree arc. Bisect angles, bisect lines, construct 60-degree angle, which is the easiest angle to construct. And then you bisect that to get an 30. Construct 90-degree angles, and then you can bisect the 90 to get a 45. Then you have to be able to construct a perpendicular from a point to a line and construct a parallel to a line through a point. You have to be able to inscribe a circle in a triangle and then circumscribe a circle over a triangle, on a triangle. And then you have to be able to construct a triangle given 3 points. And then basically after that, we're just following instructions. But these are the basic skills that you want to have. All right? So the session is being recorded. Now some of you don't want to have your geometry set. So you're required, after I go through and show you how all of these things are done, you have to go and practice them. All right? And I can send you some questions in the group for you to practice from as well. You're not going to see that in every exam paper. If you notice, I think the last 2 papers we did, there's no geometry constructions on them. Recent exams don't really have a lot of geometry construction, but you still have to prepare. Okay? It might come, something and it might come. You have to prepare for everything. All right, so I have my little geometry set thing here on the screen. That's what I'm going to use. All right. So that's a protractor. So no, that's a compass. Sorry, that's a compass. That's a protractor to measure angles. That's your ruler to measure length of lines. The question will often say use a ruler and a compass only. Those 2 things. I want you to use those 2 things only to do your construction, along with your pencil. So pencil, ruler, and that thing to do it. They don't want you to use your compass. The compass oftentimes is just for you to measure angles. All right. If they give you an angle other than the ones that you can construct, they will not tell you to construct. They will just tell you to draw. So be careful with those words, right? They can give you a shape for you to construct or to draw, and you're going to be using your protractor to get those angles. So if I give you, for example, 50 degrees, which is not one of the angles that we construct, they have to measure the 50 degrees with the protractor. All right? So let us go and show how the various things are done. Now, this thing is your best friend in this topic. You want to ensure that when you set it up in your geometry set, those 2 points are the same place. The pencil point and the point of the compass is at the same place. So you close it and make sure that they're same place. Right here. All right, they must meet at the same place. Make sure that your pencil is sharp, and make sure that it is short. You don't want no long pencil up here, so you don't want a long pencil. Some people have them pencil all the way up here, so. And then it gets in the way of what you're doing. You don't want the pencil long like that. You must use the geometry set pencil, which is a short pencil. Because what that is about is to give you the ability to hold on to this place with your pincher fingers, the 2 fingers, and then you can twirl it, spin it around. You can hold on to this thing at the top. And then you can turn, form your angles and get your arcs and so on. So you don't want the pencil in the way. If the pencil is long all the way up here, the pencil long like this, then it gets in the way we're ready to turn on this thing. All right? Make sure also the point of your compass is sharp. You don't want to place your compass down and then it's slipping all over the place. So you get a good compass. If it's old and worn, get rid of it. Another thing, you want to ensure that the locking mechanism is wood. Lock it. You tighten it. When you tighten it, it must stay fixed. It can't move. So all of them have a tightening mechanism because when you set it, you know, for all construction, when you set it, you don't want it to be moving again after you set it. So to make sure that the thing that tightens it is nice and firm and working well. All right? Have good tools in the exam to get the things right. All right? So that is the first thing, guys. Make sure that the thing is good and proper. Make sure all the pieces are in the set. You go to the exam room, the ruler, the compass, the protractor, the set squares. So you have these little triangle looking things in there as well. From time to time they'll come useful, but not so much anymore. Right? So make sure you have all of those things in there. Make sure everything is good. All right. All right. So the first thing I said is to be able to do this thing. This is the first thing. Divide a circle into 60-degree arcs. And it's a concept that I want you to understand. That every time you're on an arc and you set the radius of that arc and you make consecutive arcs on the circumference, each of those is 60 degrees. All right? So let me start here by showing you. So I'm going to set this compass. I'm going to lock it. So you see now I've just locked it right here. All right? I've just locked it right here. So I'm going to make a circle from this point. Like that. All right? Like that. Then to do this process, I'm going to put a line. I'm going to start with one line from the center to the circumference first, starting there. And the concept is this. When the compass is that radius, if you go to the circumference and you rotate and you make an arc right here, that is a 60-degree arc. Over here is a 60-degree arc. Over here. Over here is a 60-degree arc that I've just made. If I come back to this point here and rotate again, form another one, cross it again there. That's another 60-degree arc that I've made. If I come back to this point on the circumference again where the arc is and cross again, that's another 60 degrees. Once I don't change the radius of the compass, all of those arcs are 60 degrees. If I come back to this point, rotate again, make another arc. That again is 60 degrees. Come back up to this point, rotate down here, make another arc, 60 degrees. All those are 60 degrees. If I draw lines from the center out to each of these, I am forming 60-degree angles inside here. So all those sector angles are 60 degrees. And all angles inside here are 60 degrees. That's why I said that's a 60-degree arc. That arc is subtended by an angle of 60 degrees. And that arc subtends an angle of 60 degrees. But I go to that at the center. That's how form 60. So once you have an arc and you set the radius and you keep keep forming consecutive arcs. All of those arcs will be 60 degrees. All right? That's the first thing I want you all to be aware of. Very good. Take out the geometry set. You need to be doing this thing. Now, when I sit down and watch my whole day, people online need to be doing it as well. All right? All right, let's move to the next thing. So the next thing is to be able to bisect an angle. Bisect an angle, the next thing. All right? So I'm going to clear this now. The video is here and you can go and watch it. To bisect an angle using your compass. I'm going to draw an angle first. And let's say I want to bisect that angle. Right? So you put the point on the angle, open it to a reasonable length, and you lock it. Let me change the color on the pencil to blue so we can see the construction and to red. All right? Then you gonna position it, and you're gonna to bisect an angle, you bisect the arc of the angle. That's the concept. To bisect an angle, you bisect the arc of the angle. So I'm doing the arc of the angle right now. That is the arc of the angle. So these are the 2 points, right here and right here. Or you can say from here to here is the arc of that angle. Whatever the angle is here, if this angle down here is 30 degrees, then we can say that's a 30-degree arc. Now, how do you bisect that arc? You come to this end of it, and you make an arc out here. Come to the other end of the arc of the angle, and you cross that first one. When you draw a straight line through the intersection here, that line bisects that angle. That's it. Now cut that angle in half. So you can make a note. To bisect an angle, you bisect the arc of the angle. Bisect the arc of the angle. Bisect an angle, you bisect the arc of the angle. That's what I just did. All right. Let's do another one. Let's do it one more time. Let's do another one. So again, I'm going to draw an angle like maybe a little bit wider. Maybe like a line down here and a line down here. Let's make it wider. Again, you have to make an arc of that angle that we want to bisect. So come to here, open the compass to a reasonable length. Don't want it too long, you don't want it too narrow, a reasonable length. So it's comfortable. You lock it, you change the pencil color to red, and then you make that arc. So you're making the arc of the angle like this. That is the arc of the angle. I need to bisect that arc. So come to one end of the arc where it meets the line. Yeah, we'll meet up somewhere. And then I make an arc up here about where you know the middle of it would be, or the halfway mark would be. Come to the other end, rotate, and cross that one. That is it. When we draw the straight line through that intersection from where the angle is made, that line bisects that angle, cut it in half. If the angle was 80 degrees, it's now 40 and 40. So that is it, guys. Bisect an arc angle, bisect the arc of the angle. But go to that. But all right. Now move on. Next we're gonna look
Yes,
at
sir.
bisecting. Next we're gonna look at bisecting a line. That's the next thing. The bisect a line right here. So the bisector line, we construct a perpendicular bisector. The bisector line, we construct a perpendicular bisector. All right. So let's go and bisect this line segment. So let's say I have this line. But I want to bisect it. I want to find the halfway mark. I have to construct a perpendicular bisector. All right. And you're going to be using a compass. So you come to one end, and you have to open the compass to more than half the length of the line. That's the first thing you have to remember. Open the compass to more than half the length of the line. All right. So you open the compass, make sure that it is more than half the length of the line. And then now you're gonna make from one end, you're gonna make arc up the top, and you're gonna make arc down the bottom. All right. So I'm gonna make an arc up the top where I know about the halfway mark of the line would be that the perpendicular bisector would pass through. Somewhere around here. And then come down below the line and make an arc down here as well. Then without changing the angle of the compass, you go to the other end of the line. And you're gonna cross that arc at the top. Rotate down. Come down here. And cross that one. Then when you draw a straight line through those two intersections, you draw a straight line through these two intersections. That's your perpendicular bisector. That line, that blue line would have divided that line into two equal halves. And it is also perpendicular to the line right here. It's also perpendicular. Remember, the first step is to open the compass to more than half the length of the line. And then lock it. From one end, you make arcs above and below. But without changing the angle of the compass, go to the other end and you cross those two arcs above and below. A straight line through those intersecting arcs will cut that line into two equal halves and bisect it. Simple as that. But good? Let's do it again. All right, I don't want to see it again. Want to see it one more time? Let's do it one more time. More maths equals better maths. So that's my line. All right? That is my line. Let's do the construction again in blue. Right. You come to one end of the line. Open the compass. Make sure that it is more than half the length of the line. That's a key step for this. And make sure that it is more than half the length of the line. And then lock it. And from one end, you want to make arcs above and below. Remember, think about what you're doing. You're trying to draw the perpendicular bisector. So you make your arc above and you make arc below. Then you move to the next end. And you're gonna come down and make arc above again, cross the arc above, rotate down, and cross the arc below. When you draw a straight line through these intersections, where the arcs intersect, you would have bisected that line. That blue line would have bisected that line and give you 90 degrees right there. And cut the line into two equal halves. This length and this length is the same on the lines. So divide the line. So the line was 10, you cut it into 5 and 5. But good? So bisect that line. All right? That's the practice guide. But the one was coming on the exam paper. But all right. All right. Next thing on the agenda. We're going to get question for doing now. We'll finish all of this. I think we're going to get there. We are going to construct a 60-degree angle. And then because we know to bisect angle, we're going to bisect the 60 and get a 30 degrees. 60-degree angle is the easiest angle to draw. And CSEC will show you a 60-degree angle construction and ask you what angle it is. They must also know what it looks like. The easiest angle to construct, the 60-degree angle. Only 2 arcs are required. Can you make a note? Only 2 arcs are required for a 60-degree angle. Only 2 arcs are required for a 60-degree angle. So if I have a line down here, and I want to construct a 60 degree from one end, you're going to open the compass a reasonable length. You don't want it too close. You don't want it too wide. It's a nice, comfortable length. And then you lock it. You're not going to change it again. Right? Then from that end, you're going to make an arc that you know is about 60 degrees long. A little bit longer than 60 degrees. So you cross this one, come up here, similar to what we did with the circle. That's the first arc. Then move your pointer here with cross, it means the line, just like what we did with the circle. Rotate around. And you cross that one. So only 2 arcs are required. So let me have a circle, and I did the 60-degree arc as I did the circle. When I draw a straight line through here, through the intersection, and this angle is 60 degrees. Simple as that. But good, that's what a 60-degree arc looks. 60-degree angle looks. So CSEC will give you that diagram on the exam paper and ask you what angle is that with those 2 arcs. That's 60 degrees. Now, when I have that 60 degree, I can now bisect that to find the 30. I can bisect that 60-degree arc now if I want 30. So suppose it's really 30 more. Then I did not have to draw in this line. That last line that I put in, that line I didn't have to put it. Because I now have this 60-degree arc right here. See here, that's a 60-degree arc, you know. From here to here is 60 degrees. That's a 60-degree arc right now. So all I need to do is bisect that arc, and I will have my 30 degrees. So to bisect that arc, it means a different color. I'm going to come to this end, right? Rotate around, and put an arc out here. Come to the other end of my 60-degree arc, rotate around, and cross that one. When I draw my line through here, that is now 30 degrees. That is now 30 degrees. But good, if I put back this line up here, wrong thing. If I put back this line up here, full intersection, that is 60 degrees. So this is 60 degrees. Everything is 60 degrees here. That whole angle is 60 degrees. You see, to get the 60 degrees, you need the two red arcs. To get the 30 degrees, you bisect the 60-degree arc. Right? So you draw the 60-degree arc with it, right? The two red arcs. And then you bisect it to get the 30 degrees. Bisect the 60 degree to get 30 degrees. You want to go to that? Sure. Let's do it one more time. One more equal better. Let's do it again. So again, from this end of the line, I want to draw, let's say I want to draw 60 degrees at this end over here. You put my compass a reasonable length, and then lock it and tighten it up good. And I'm not going to change it again. Not going to change the angle of the compass again. You change the angle of the compass again, if the angle shifts, the compass shifts, the angle, you have to start over. You have to make sure the compass don't shift. So you have to hold it delicately right up at the top, right up at the point of the top. So I make an arc that's about 60 degrees long or more. Right? So from here, you make an arc that's about 60 degrees long, all the way up there. So, and you come to this point where it meets the line, rotate the compass around. And then you cross that one. That is 60 degrees. I put a straight line through here. Through the intersection of those two arcs. That is 60 degrees. If I want 30 degrees, I need to bisect that 60-degree arc. Because at 30-degree angle, I bisect that 60-degree arc. That arc is a 60-degree arc. I subtended by a 60-degree angle. Let's do the blue for the 30 degrees. So you come back to the two ends. You're going to bisect the arc. This 60-degree arc you're going to bisect. You come to this end first. Rotate out. Make an arc somewhere out there. Come to the other end. Rotate out. And cross that one. When I draw a line straight down the middle here now, that is 30 degrees. So I bisected the 60 to get my 30. What I to that? So inside here, so it's 30 degrees. But the red one, everything here, so is 60 degrees. That is it. Very good. So I've done 60, bisect 60 to get 30. Let's go for 45 degrees. So remember, make a note. Only two arcs needed for 60 degrees. The easiest angle to construct. But only two arcs needed for a 60-degree arc, for a 60-degree angle. All right. The next thing we're looking at is this one. What that one? Oh, okay, so. Right. Next one we're looking at is we just did this. We're going to look at the 90 degree. I'm going to bisect the 90 to get 45. So let's see the concept under. There are multiple ways to do the 90. Different teachers teach it different ways, right? But the method that I use is to construct two 60-degree arcs, 60 and 60, as I showed you with the circle. So I construct a 60 and a second 60. Then I bisect the second 60. So the 60 plus the 30 is what gives me the 90. So I'm going to construct two 60-degree arcs, 60 and a 60. And I'm going to bisect the second 60 into 30, 30. The first 60 and the 30 give me 90. But understand that. Let's do it. Different teachers teach it different things. All right? So look at this method now, which I think is a nice friendly method to use. So let's say I have this line and I want to construct a 60-degree angle at this end and a 90-degree angle at that end. All right? I'm going to put the compass again. I'm going to open it to a reasonable length. or reasonable angle, you're gonna lock it. And I'm going to change it again after this. Keeping it right there. I'm gonna make a 120-degree arc, or arc that is longer than 120 degrees, because I need a 60 plus a 60. If I want to construct 90, concept is 60 plus 60, and bisect the second 60. So I need to draw an arc that is more than 120. So the long arc I need around here now. See there? All the way around there, so. All the way around there, so. Want the arc that is more than 120. See there? Then I'm going to bisect that, cut that arc into 60-60 now. So I come right here at this end, don't change down on the compass. Right? Make that cut, that's 60 degrees. They come back to this end right here, this point now. And cross again. That's a second 60 degrees. So I now have two 60-degree arcs. One here and one here. I want to bisect the second one into 30-30. All right? I'm going to bisect the second one. So if I bisect the second one, then blue fire. So to bisect the second one, you come to one end of the arc, rotate the compass above it, and you make an arc. Because I want to cut that arc, I want to cut that 60-degree arc in two equal arcs. Oh, that is at the wrong place. So the point is at the wrong place. The point needs to be here. So I'm going to undo those. So it needs to be right here at the intersection. So let's go again. Make the arc up here. Come to the other end of that 60-degree arc. Rotate the compass. I think I could change, you know. And cross that one. But when I draw a line from here through this intersection, it is bisecting the second arc and giving me 60 plus 30 equals 90. So this part of it is 60. This part of it is 30. They add up to 90. That's a 90-degree arc. So this is a 90-degree angle right here. That is the concept of this thing. But I go to that. So this angle is 90 degrees, right? But okay? Yeah?
Sir.
So remember the method. So different people teach you different methods. If you learn it another way and you're good with it, no problem. That's what some teachers do. They make you bisect a 180, which is a straight line. That's what some teachers do. They bisect a 180. Right? But I use a method of forming 120, a 60 and a 60, bisect the second 60. 60 and 30 minutes. That's my method. I think it's a little bit cleaner than the other way of bisecting the 180. All right? Then now if I want to get 45 degrees, I now need to bisect this arc from here to here. That arc I need to bisect. That's a 90-degree arc. I need to bisect it. So I need to bisect from these 2 points. All right? So I'm going to bisect that now. Let's use a different color. Let's use green to get my 45. So I'm bisecting now this point and this point. This arc I'm bisecting to get my 45 degrees. So I rotate out here. Make an arc somewhere up here. Come back to this end. Rotate up here. Cross that first one. This one could be a little bit longer. This first one could be a little bit longer. Oh, wrong place, wrong place. It's supposed to be here. When I draw a straight line through this intersection, All right, so it's not taking off the red line. Let's go again. So from here again, rotate down here, make that arc, come to the other end of the 90-degree arc, rotate there, complete that arc, and then you can draw a straight line through this intersection. That's 45 degrees. So this is 45 degrees. And the red one is 80 degrees. It's 90 degrees, sorry. This is all 90 degrees. Wow, gone. Right over. That's 90 degrees. Let me draw about that. All right, let's do it again. I think messed up. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. I'm going to bisect the 90 one more time. More mass equals better mass. Make an arc up here over this end. And you cross that arc. And you will draw the line through this intersection. That's a 45 degrees. So this is 45 degrees. And this is 90 degrees. That's it. What about? So that's how we construct 90 degrees in this program. For the constructor 60 and a 60, bisect the second 60. All right? All right. What next? What next? We have to now construct a perpendicular from a point to a line. Make a note. So this one, we simulate the formation of an isosceles triangle. Bisect the base of it. That's how we do this one. Construct a perpendicular from a point to a line. We simulate the formation of an isosceles triangle. Make a note. For this one that we're on now. Construct a perpendicular from a point to a line. We simulate the formation of an isosceles triangle. And then we want to bisect the base of the isosceles triangle. And the base of the isosceles triangle will pass through the apex, which is the point we're drawing the perpendicular from. All right? That's the method we're going to use. Simulate the formation of an isosceles triangle. All right, let's see how that is done. And there's a precise method to do this. Pay attention. All right, so let's say I have this line, right? Let's say I have this line. And I want to do a perpendicular from this point up here. From this point that I've just drawn. But you can see that little dot. I want to do a perpendicular from that point to the line. I'm going to do it one with the line, not horizontal for you. All right? Look at the process now. We're going to simulate the formation of an isosceles triangle. And you have to use the compass. So you put a point on the compass, and then you have to open the compass. And you're going to kind of test if when you make an arc, it will cross it at 2 points. That's what you want. So you adjust it in such a way to test that if you make an arc, it will cross this line at 2 points. That's what you want. That's the first step. And this, if I make an arc here, this will compass at this length. If I make an arc now, it will clearly pass at 2 points. Here, or continue over here to cross over here as well. All right. So once you establish that, then you make the arc. So you make that arc now from here to here. Come on now, pencil. All right. So what I've done there really, show you. What I've done there really is I have simulated formation of an isosceles triangle for this length, and this length is the same. And the thing is, Jesus, start over. Let's start over. Sometimes I tell you undo the wrong thing. So open the compass again. Make sure that test and see if you make an arc, it will cross the line at 2 points. Note that the point of the compass is on the point that I'm doing the construction from. All right. So then you want to establish that, then you make the arc. And what I've done, I'm simulating an isosceles triangle. So when I bisect the base of this isosceles triangle, it will pass through the apex. So I now need to bisect. I now need to bisect this little line pieces between these 2 points. I need to bisect it. Because the distance from this point down to here is same as the distance from this point down to here. That's why I'm like an isosceles triangle. And now I need to bisect the base. This is like the base of that isosceles triangle. I now need to bisect this base. So I come to this end, let me show the bisection of that base now. Or you bisect a line again. Open the compass more than half. Open the compass more than half. And then from one end, you can make an arc down below. You don't need to make an arc up the top. So make an arc down here. Come to the other end. Rotate down. And then across that one. When I draw a straight line now, through the intersection, to this point, that line is now perpendicular to the black line. So I've drawn a perpendicular from the point to the line right here. So this is now a perpendicular. So it's a perpendicular to the line right here. So that's how we do it. That's how we construct a perpendicular from a point to a line. Simulate the formation of isosceles triangle. Say, open the compass. Make sure when you swing the compass, it will cross the line at 2 points. They make the arc. They bisect the little segment that is formed by that arc. And then now, that bisector line will be perpendicular from the point. Take like the axis, this one. Construct a perpendicular from a point to a line. But to go to that, let's do it one more time. I'm going to draw the line slanted this time so we can see that this is the process. All right, let me draw the line slanted this time. Let's do it one more time. More math equals better math. Let's go. This time I'm going to make my line slant like this. And let's say I want to do a perpendicular from a point up here. So that point, let us put it on to the point here. So right here, the point. I want to do a perpendicular to this line. All right, from that point. Ready again. Put a point and a compass on the point, and then we're gonna test. Adjust the compass. And kind of test that if you make an arc, it will cross at 2 points. This is to ohm some more. Ohm it some more. Lock it. And then so say to yourself, if I make an arc, will it cross at 2 points? No, this won't. So I need to open it some more still. Maybe this line too far. I need to put in there. Need to make the line longer. This example. Will it cross at 2 points for this one? No. All right, so I need to make the point a little closer for illustration purposes. So let me undo that. Let me put the point closer, like maybe here. So I'm putting the point here. All right. So let's go again. So open the compass and adjust it. And what you want to do is ensure that when you make an arc, it will cross the line at 2 points. This one still look a little bit too long. Let's close it up some more. All right, this one will. This one will cross that 2 points here. Here and there. So once you realize that to cross the 2 points, then go ahead and you make the arc. Go ahead and you make that. So this is it. There and there. All right. Then I want to bisect that little line segment where the arc intersect the line. I'm going to change the color now for that one. So I now need to bisect this line segment here. This little line segment to bisect this little line. So you come on it and you open the compass more than half. It's already more than half. You're going to make arcs down here from this point, from the end points. Make an arc below down here. Come to the other end of that little line segment that you have formed. Rotate down. I'm going to make an arc there. When you draw straight line through the intersection and the point, then this line is going to be your perpendicular. This line is a perpendicular from this point to this line. See the wrong one, erase again. So I'll start over again. Keep erasing the wrong thing. Let's do it one more time. More maths equals better maths. So I'm going to put the point on here again. You test to see if when I make an arc, you cross this line at 2 points, which it will. Once you establish that, then you go ahead and you make the arc. Cross that line at 2 points. Then we need to bisect that little line segment that we have formed. This little line segment here, we need to now bisect it. So you're going to open compass more than half, which is already more than half. You're going to make arcs below here. And like you want to make where the arc would the bisecting line will be. So make an arc down below here. Up to the other end. Rotate down and cross that arc. When you go now, and you draw a line through the intersection and the point, that's a perpendicular from the point to the line. It means it's right here. And this is 90 degrees. That is it. All right? But good? But all right.
Yes.
All right, then practice these things, guys. So the next thing is to now draw a parallel through a point. A parallel to a line through a point. Draw a parallel through a point to a line. A parallel to a line through a point. But this one is simulate the formation of a parallelogram. We can make a note. For this one, simulate formation of a parallelogram. Simulate the formation of a parallelogram. All right, let's look at this one. Simulate the formation of a parallelogram. All right, let's clear the screen and do another one. So let's say I have a line. And let's say the line is this. Let's make it slant. And let's say I have a point right here. That's a point right there. And I want to draw a line parallel to this first line passing through this point. So the line that I want must go like so. And it has to be parallel to this one. But we have to construct it. So you have to show those construction lines, those arcs. The method is to simulate formation of a parallelogram. How would a parallelogram look? So like I'm going to simulate forming this thing. That's what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to get this line to be parallel to this line by formulating that blue thing. All right? What do we know about a parallelogram? This length and this length equal, and this length and this length equal. So all I need to do is transfer those distances. All right? That's the method, to transfer those distances. So this is it. So this length here, this length right here, so I'm going to transfer it over here. And then this length up down here, I'm going to transfer it to up here. That's the method. Transfer the length of the lines. Form a parallelogram. So you simulate the formation of a parallelogram. So watch it. So first thing I want to transfer, I want to transfer this distance. The distance up to this point. So I open the compass and I go until I meet it. So you see that distance to the point? Hold on, let me undo it. Right. So you see that distance? You open the compass from one. Open the compass. And you bring the point to meet that point, that distance. So you see that distance anyhow, I want to transfer that distance over to the next end. So I come to the next end with the compass set for that distance. I come to the next end. And I make an arc over here. So everywhere on this arc is the same distance that this is from here. The next thing I want to transfer is the length of this line. So I will take the compass down. Oh man, let's go again. Let's transfer this distance again. This distance I want to transfer. So I transfer that distance over here. Make that arc. Then the next thing I want to transfer, as I said, is the length of this line. So rotate this down, put my compass to the length of this line, lock it. I want to transfer that distance up the top. So I move the compass up now to this point, make an arc out here. That arc is the same distance as the line down here. So you see where those two arcs intersect over there? It's a combination of this distance, and this distance, that distance. So when I draw a straight line now through that point and the intersection, that's going to be parallel to the black line. So from here now, I just need to draw a straight line through the intersection. And that line is parallel to the black line. That's the method. Some teachers teach it by doing a series of arcs. And you draw on the top of the arc, like you draw on tangents. I don't think that's the very accurate. It's a more accurate. Construct a parallel to a simulate formation of a parallel. Very good. And do it one more time. Let's do it one more time. Without difference. So let's clear this and do it another time. Let's draw a line this time. Let's draw a line this time, this way. And let's put a point right here. So let's say I want to draw parallel to this point right here. So I want a line that goes like this. It has to be parallel to that. Again, I'm going to simulate the formation of a parallelogram. I'm going to simulate the formation of this. This distance, transfer it over here. And the length of this line, I transfer it up here. That's a parallelogram. And then that is when this would be. Let's define this point up here. All right? That's the method. Let's go. So again, I want to transfer firstly this distance. I want to transfer that distance between the end of the line, between the end of the line and the point. I want to transfer it up to this end. So measure that distance, open the compass, and when you reach the point, you lock it. You come from this end, transfer that same distance up to this end. Make an arc up here. Then I want to transfer the length of the line. Let's go again. Then I want to transfer the length of the line. So open the compass and get the length of the line. Right? And then I want to transfer that distance up at this end from the point. So put the point up here. As it is length enough. I'm transferring it up here. But I will put the point of the compass here and then rotate around and cross that. So that should have gone further out. So I need to transfer by this distance. I'm going to start over. That distance, the first distance wasn't transferred properly. So let me start over. So again, I want to transfer this distance from the point I want to transfer that distance. Then put the point on this instead. That distance I want to transfer. To transfer that distance up here. To make an arc over there it's supposed to be. Then I want to transfer the length of the line. Length of the line next I want to transfer. So open my compass with the full length of the line, lock it, and I'm transferring that length up here. Just about make it. Let me start over again. Let me start over one more time. I'll do it properly. Let's go again. Let's do this thing properly. I need to get this distance from the line, another line to the point. That distance, not the compass. Transfer that distance over here. Make an arc. They want to transfer the length of this line. So open compass to the length of the line. Yeah, lock it. Then transfer that distance up here. It's just about the end of that. I need to transfer back the original length that we have over here. To transfer back this length. That's it. When I draw my straight line to the point and the intersection, it will be parallel to the black line. That's it. Okay, transfer the lengths. All right, very good. Simulate the formation of parallelogram. Transfer the length of the line. Go home and watch the video and do it on yourself again. I don't come in the geometry set. Next thing. Next thing we have to be able to do is, so we just did this. Inscribe a circle on a triangle. In a triangle. To inscribe a circle, you bisect two angles to find the center of the circle. So make a note. To inscribe a circle, you bisect two angles of the triangle to find the center of the circle that you're going to draw. bisect two angles. So where those two bisecting lines meet is the center of the circle that they're going to draw. So to inscribe a circle and put it inside a triangle, put a circle inside a triangle, so that the three sides of the triangle are tangents to the circle. You bisect two angles to find where the center of that circle is. All right, make a note. Bisect two angles. Let's do it now. So clear the screen. So I'm going to draw a triangle on the screen. Let's draw a random triangle on the screen. Let's say it's my triangle. All right. To inscribe a circle, I need to bisect two angles. Let's say I'm going to bisect the angle over here and the angle over here. Bisect those two angles. All right. So remember, to bisect an angle, you bisect the arc of the angle, right? Bisect an angle, you bisect the arc of the angle. So let's go. So come in here, I'm going to bisect this angle. So I'm going to make a little arc down here, bisect the arc. So let's make it nice and neat. Let's use ready for this one. So you make an arc here. Then I need to bisect that arc. So you come to this end of the arc, rotate around, and make another arc there. That's in the wrong place. That's in the wrong place. You need to be right on the point. All right, so then now make an arc up here. And come to the other end of the arc, rotate the compass, and you cross that arc. So a red line down here now is bisecting this angle, like so. And now we need to bisect the other angle. Let's bisect that angle in green. Angle down here, I'm going to bisect now. This one. So again, I'm going to make the arc of the angle first. So you rotate. And then you make an arc. You're going to bisect that arc now. You come to this end. Make an arc up here. Come to the other end of the arc. And cross that one. When you draw the straight line through this intersection, that straight line is bisecting the angle. The way you do it, you draw like the two lines meet, you want the two lines to meet. So that green line bisects the angle and they meet right there. That's right. Let's go again. Come through here and put it where they meet. When the green bisecting line meets the red bisecting line. That's it. No, that's wrong again. My hand is shaking. That's it. See that point right there where the red line and the green line meet? That's where the center of the circle is. Center of the circle is right there. Right here. The center of the circle. So you're gonna do now, you're gonna put the compass now on that point. And you're gonna have to adjust it. You're gonna have to adjust it so that it will give you a circle just touching the inner part of the triangle. All right? So adjust it. Can I adjust it like come around here and test it again? Let me test it on here. So yes, like if you just touch it right there. So again, come around this one. Yes. So like when I draw a circle now, it will just touch each line. So I'm going to change that into blue and I'm going to draw the circle now. See there? Nice and neat. That is it. I've just inscribed a circle. That's right. So again, inscribe a circle. You bisect two angles to find where the center of the circle is. The lines that bisect the angles, where they intersect, is the center of the circle. And then just adjust your compass and set it so that, you know, when you draw the circle, it's going to touch the three lines. Kind of internally. The three lines must be tangents to the turn, which is what you have in this case. But good? But all right? The thing is that they bisect two angles to find the center. Then to circumscribe a circle now, I now need to bisect two sides to find the center. I want to use the same triangle. I'm going to end up drawing a circle, you see, that goes around here, pass through those three vertices. That's a circumscribed circle. The inscribed circle is the one in here that I just draw, the blue one. All right, but let me go now and do that other one. So this time I'm going to bisect two sides. So to circumscribe a circle, you bisect two sides. Make a note of it for me, please. We'll finish this one. Doing this one, circumscribe. You're now going to bisect two sides. Find the center of the circle. Bisect two sides to find the center of the circle that we're going to draw. All right? That's what we're going to do. Circumscribe a circle on a triangle. To bisect two sides. Where those bisecting lines meet for the two sides, that's the center of the circle. All right? Let's go and do it. We're going to do it on the same triangle. So I'm going to bisect this side, I'm going to bisect that side. I'm going to bisect those two sides. All right? So let's go. Ready? When you bisect that side, align again. You open the compass more than half, right? Open the compass more than half. And you lock it. All right? Remember, we bisect a line. They make an arc up here from one end. You're going to make an arc inside here as well. They're bisecting that line. And from the other end of the line, you're going to cross those two arcs. They cross the first arc down here. And you rotate up and cross the second arc. So I need to make that one a little bit longer. I just need to come back down at this end and make this one longer right here. When I draw a straight line through those intersections, that's my first bisecting line that bisects that side. Let me draw that in blue. When I come through these two intersections, I would have bisected that side. Something I've extended further down to it. Sometimes the center is actually outside the circle. You don't have to be inside. I'm extend it down here. That blue line bisecting that first side. It's bisect the other side in green. And draw the circle in red. I want to bisect this side over here now. This side. I want to bisect this side now. So from one end, remember now, again, you're going to open the compass more than half. And you lock it. Then now, down here, going to make an arc somewhere down here. You might take in that side now. You can arc. Sometimes you can open it big, you know. I'm going to show you another way. Where you draw to the arcs are outside the triangle. I'm going to show you. And then rotate up here, other end, make an arc up the top. Then come to the other end of the line that you bisecting. Rotate the compass around. And you make an arc there. And you rotate the compass around again to this one. To make an arc down here. So we need to adjust that other green arc. Let's come back to the other end and adjust this other green arc. To that. That's where it actually crosses. Then I'm going to draw the line now through this intersection. This is the bisecting line. This line looks up clean. I like them happen to be passing to the same point. But anyway, where the green line and the blue line meet is the center. That's a coincidence that the arcs are on the same point. So I'm going to draw it over again and make it wider so the arcs not in each other to be. All right? But that's the center now of the circle. So bring the compass to that point where that point of intersection of the blue line and the green line. Look around here. And they adjust it. You see to go on one vertex from that center point and lock it. Let's draw it in red. And lock it. Rotate, you're gonna see that it passes through the 3 vertices like that. See there? Draw the circle. See that? That circumscribe that triangle. Circle passes through the vertices. Let me do it over again because I want to get those blue line and green line. I don't want the arcs in the way. I'm gonna draw so that the arcs are outside the triangle. So I'm gonna make it kind of big. Make the arcs them far further apart. So let me clear this. All right, let's go again. So from this end, I'm going to bisect this side. And you don't have to, you can make it long like so. You can make it longer than a line. And set it. All right? And then from that end, I'm going to make an arc up the top up here. And rotate over this side, over this end, and make an arc down here. Come to the other end. Make an arc down here. Up here. Cross that first arc. When I draw the straight line through here now, through the intersection, that line is bisecting that side still. You see that? So you can actually start with a line that is longer than the line that you bisected. Just don't change the arc angle after you finish. I'm going to bisect this side over here now. Over here. Let's use the greening for that one. Again, what I'm going to do is make it longer. Use something longer than the line itself. So that the arcs are outside the triangle. I don't want them inside the triangle. All right? So let's set it. Lock it. I'm going to make an arc up the top up here. Rotate around. Make an arc somewhere down here. Come to the other end of the line that you bisected. Rotate down. Cross that arc. Rotate around. And cross that first arc. So you can actually do it so the arcs are outside. So if you make when you bisecting the side, you make the thing longer than the side, then the arcs will be outside the triangle. Don't be inside and messing up as you just did. When I draw a straight line now through this intersection of these arcs, let's see the wrong one. All right, good. Beautiful. That's starting at the right place. Let's see if I'm done. Where the green line and the blue line meet, that's the intersection. So the blue line bisects the side over here, and the green line bisects this side. Those two lines intersect at this point that I'm going to put in red. They intersect right here. At the intersection here. That little dot. So that's where I'm going to put the center of my compass now to draw my circle. So I put the point there where the two bisecting lines meet, and just adjust to one of the vertices that will pass through the three vertices. And then you lock it to pass through the three vertices. And then you just go like that. Sure, very circle. That is circumscribe that circle. So remember this. Inscribe, you put a circle inside a triangle, you bisect two angles. Put a circle circumscribing a triangle, meaning pass through the vertex of a triangle, you bisect two sides. Where the bisecting lines meet, that is the center of your circle. Good to go. Just remember, bisect two angles to inscribe, bisect two sides to circumscribe. Very good? All right. Then now, the next thing is to construct a circle, just giving three sides alone. I'm not giving an angle. Right? This one. So you give you three sides and tell you must draw one triangle with three sides. But they didn't tell you any angle. All right? So they don't give you any angle, but you're expected to do this triangle. And all they tell you is the three sides. And you have to construct and show construction. It's easy. So you draw one line and construct the other two lines using distances. Yes, the distances. Draw one line with a ruler, and then you construct the length of the other two lines. That's all I have to do. So we can draw one line with your ruler, measure one line and draw one line with your ruler. And then gonna say using a ruler and compass. Then you construct the distance of the other two lines. That's all I have to do. Let's do an example. Let's clear this and do an example. So let's say we want to draw a triangle. Let me give you a standard triangle. Let's do a 3, 4, 5 triangle. 3, 4, 5, or 6, 8, 10. 6, 8, 10. And let's do a 6, 8, 10 triangle. So let's suppose them say draw a triangle that is its sides 6 centimeters. 6 centimeters, 8 centimeters, 10 centimeters. Draw a triangle with those three sides. One side is 6, one side is 8, one side is 10. I like to start with the longest side and put that at the base. That's how I normally do my construction. The longest one, start with that one and put that as the base side. So see the ruler here. I'm going to draw a line that is 10 centimeters long first to start. So go back for this thing. I'm going to come to the 0 and draw a line out to 10. So I've used my ruler. That is 10. It's one side. All right? And sometimes they will tell you the vertices. But let me just say, all right, let's say just 6, 8, and 10. Watch this. That's 10, right? And put the ruler here. Oh, yeah, we're going to use the ruler now. That line is 10. Now I need to draw 6 centimeter arc from one end and an 8 centimeter arc from the other end to finish the triangle. There's 6 centimeter arc from one end and an 8 centimeter arc from the other end. Where those two arcs meet is the third point for the triangle. So see here now, use a compass. From 0 on the compass. From 0 on the compass, 0 on the compass, 0, Mr. Shaw. I'm going to open the compass to 6 centimeters. Look, 6. 6. When you reach 6, you lock it. Lock it. You come to one end, and you're going to make a 6 centimeter arc. So you rotate it up, and you're going to make an arc that is 6 centimeters. Let's do it in red. So everywhere on this arc is 6 centimeters from this end. And then now you go back and you need a 8 centimeter arc from the other end. You go back on the ruler, and you measure up the compass, and want an arc that is 8 centimeters now. So from 0, you open it up to 8. 8 there, and then lock it. Let's change that one to green. And draw that arc from the other end, cross the first arc. Bam. That arc is 8 centimeters from that end. So you're done. Means that the line from here to here is 8 centimeters. And the line from here to here, the intersection, is 6 centimeters. And the original line was 10 centimeters. Don't you? That's your 6, 8, 10 channel. But God, that's how it is. So you draw one line first with your ruler, measure it, put on that first. Then you draw an arc that is equal in length one side from one end, and from the other end, you draw an arc that is equal in length to the other length. Arc length must be as long as the other length, not the arc length, the length of the radius of the arc that you make. And where the two arcs meet will satisfy what you want. 6 from one side, 8 from the other side. And they have 3 sides, 6, 8, and 10 in this exam. All good? Let's do it one more time with some other. All right? Let's do another one, some other one, just for practice. So let's say I want to draw a triangle. Let's say them name the triangle now. All right, no matter. They will name it. They will name it and say PQR and tell you the sides, what each side is supposed to be. All right? So let me just put on 3 sides. So let's say draw a triangle now, which is 5 centimeters. Let's make it be 7 centimeters and make one side be 9 centimeters. Three prime numbers, 3 odd numbers. So 9, 7, and 5. So same thing again. I like to put the longest one first. I'm going to draw the 9 centimeter line first down here. So let's use your ruler from 0 up to 9. The longest one. That's 9 centimeters. I'm not going to throw away the ruler because I need to measure a radius of 5 centimeters and a radius of 7 centimeters. You bring back the compass to the 0 end. Zero. And you measure and open up to 5. 5. Lock it. Let's use the red for that one. Come to the end of this line. We're going to draw a line that is 5 centimeter radius, 5 centimeter from this point. You open the compass. When you open the compass, you rotate and you make an arc somewhere up here. So everywhere on that red line is 5 centimeters from this end. You need the other one that is now 7. You go back on the ruler. Zero. Open the compass. And you're now going to open it up to measure 7. Lock it. This is a different color for that one. So from the other end, you're now making a 7 centimeter arc across the first one. See there? That is now 7 centimeters from this end. So this point is 7 centimeters. Right there. 7 centimeters from that end. And at the same time, it is 5 centimeters from this end. This point is 5 centimeters from that end. I bring it down here, it's going to be 5 centimeters. See 5 centimeters. So that point is 5 centimeters from the red point and 7 centimeters from the green point. So let's complete the thing. So from this end, it is 5 centimeters to the intersection. That is 5 centimeters. And at the other end, it is 7 centimeters from here. That is 7 centimeters from this end. And the original line was 9 centimeters. 9 centimeters. That's it. What they'll do sometimes after this, they ask to measure some angles. So how do we use now to protract the right way to measure angles? Everything important. So let's say I want to measure those 3 angles in this triangle. All right? Bam, that's what we're going to use, this guy, to measure the angles, this guy right here. But let me take off some of these things. Let me take off some of these so that the diagram is clear. Let me take off some of these things. Let me take off some of these things so you have a clear diagram, a clear and draw a triangle. And show you how we use it to measure. Position the protractor the right way. I'm going to draw a triangle and measure the 3 angles on it. So 1 line, 2 line. Let's do this clear. Let's want to measure the 3 angles in that thing. All right? If you look at this protractor, it has 2 scales. Let me clear the diagram first, then I will draw. It has 2 scales. So the inner scale and the outer scale. There's a scale that goes from 0 upwards, starts from 0 and then go upwards. And you have another scale that starts from 180 degrees, the 180 degree scale here, so, and that one is decreasing. You always want to be reading the 0 scale. Over on this end, the 0 scale is on the inside, and the 180 degree scale pointing down is on the outside. So if you're reading from this side, you have to be reading the 0 scale. You must always be reading the 0 scale. If you're reading an angle from this side, you're reading this scale, the inner scale. If you read an angle from this side using the outer one, the 0 scale, it's always be reading the 0 scale. Next thing, when you measure an angle, the point right at the intersection there must be on the angle that you're measuring. This point that is this point. So if I put on this, I put on a point here, this intersection. See where the intersection of the intersection of the cross down there, so on the protractor, that's where you want. That's where you want to think. Let me use this and show you. Let me use this and show you. Right here. That's where you measure your angle. That point must be on the point whereby you measure the angle. Some people put down here on it, which is wrong. Some people put under here on it, which is wrong. Some people they measure the angle. What did I do? Press the wrong thing. Hold on. I pressed the wrong thing. Where are you? Press the wrong thing, guys. Start fill again. Right. Here it is. Right. So some people they measure on a line, for example, on a line like this, right? And they're using the protractor. The mistake that they make is that they put the line on the bottom of the protractor. They don't put it at the right place. You see, even protractor in this diagram know its right position. But they tend to put this on the line, like they put the line here, so. They put the line below here, so. Which is wrong. You want the line to be, through here, passing through 0 on this line. The line that I measure the angle from must pass through the 0. The 0. Not the bottom of the protractor. No. You're putting it on the line that passes 0. And again, the point that you're measuring the angle from, or the point that you're measuring the angle at, here must be on that point. Right? That in that cross must be on that point. Everything important. Then tell you measure something, I want to make sure we get it right. All right? Let's go. Let's go. So let's say I'm gonna draw about the triangle. We're gonna measure up, right? So I use that measure those 3 angles. So this one down here is a first. This one down here is a first. Measure angle inside is a first. You put the eye on the point, see? Right in the cross there on the point. Right? And then you rotate and make sure that the baseline that you measure the angle from pass through 0. So you rotate, make sure it pass through 0. See it pass through 0 now. But I can't see that. And in this example, because we're measuring the angle on the right side of the protractor, we're going to have to be using the inner scale, the 0 scale. You're reading the 0 scale. And this one looks like it passed through. Can I make it look bigger so you can see it? This one looks like it passed through about, remember the 0 scale you're reading now. So it's 40, go 41 that. See that? 41 corresponds to 140 on the other scale. Because remember, the total angle must always be 180. One scale going from 180 down, one scale going from 0 up. The total, the inner scale and the outer scale must always add up to 180. Get me? So there it is. So we're reading, this looks like more than 40, like about 41 degrees. So I would say that angle is 41 degrees inside here. So this is 41 degrees. But I agree with that. Good. If I measure this angle over here, again, I will put the point on the angle, the intersection, the 90, put it on the angle. You have to rotate the thing and make sure that the base and the measuring angle from pass through 0. Make sure that it pass through 0. Look, see? Put on the point, rotate and make sure it pass through 0. See the 0 there, pass through 0. When the baseline and the measuring angle from pass through 0, then you're ready to read it. Make sure it pass through 0. And make sure that the point that the angle measuring at is right in the intersection at the 90. That's like the center of the compass of the protractor. And if you read that one, that looks like 25, 26 degrees. But you can see that 26 degrees? Can you see it? 26 degrees, don't it? I make that look a larger, you might see it better. See there? 26 degrees. All right, so it's more than 25. See 25 there. Just about 26, a little bit less. We can get that 26 degrees, right? 26 degrees. So this angle down here, we're saying is 26 degrees. This one. 26 degrees. Then if I measure an angle up here now, I measure again one line as my baseline. So pay attention now again. Put that on the point that I measure an angle. Call that point at the T, right at the intersection, call it the eye of the protractor. And you have to rotate down now such that the baseline pass through 0. One of the lines that I'm measuring from pass through 0. See there, must pass through 0. Let me zoom it up some so you can see it. So make sure that it pass through 0. So rotate, pass through 0. See there? I'm measuring from down here, sir. I'm measuring from this scale down here, so make sure that it pass through 0. rotate, make sure it pass through 0. See there, it pass through 0. Then in this example, I'm measuring the outer scale. Remember, I'm measuring up to this line up here. This line I want, the angle up to this line. So I'm measuring the 0 scale. You have to be careful, measure the 0 scale. The 0 scale is the inner one. Line of pass through 0 is the inner scale pass through 0. So you're measuring the 0 scale. So if I measure this one on the 0 scale, go all the way up, it pass 110, don't it? But can you see that? 110 degrees. But can you see that? You see it? They pass 110 degrees. All right? 110, 111, 112, 113, I'm getting. But I can say 113 degrees that. But I give it that 113 degrees on the 0 scale. A lot of people make the mistake and put it at 60 something, 67, which is wrong. Gotta read the wrong scale. They look and they say the 67 right there, say that angle is 67 degrees. Wrong. And you're supposed to know that that angle can't be 67 degrees. Because 67 degrees is an acute angle. But it happens. Because they see the 67 on the protractor. And then brain fry. I'm under pressure in the exam, we're at 67. You have to read the right scale. And there are two scales on it, an inner scale and an outer scale. Sometimes the outer scale will pass to the 0, sometimes the inner scale will pass to the 0, depending on which side the measuring is from. So in this example, that is 113 degrees. It passed 110, 111, 112, 113 degrees. But good, could also measure it from the other end like this. Right? Could have also measured it from the other end. Again, you have to make sure it passes through 0. So again, you put the eye on the point at the measuring. Right there. I'm going to use the 0 scale again. If I'm measuring from this end, if I'm measuring from this end over here, then I'm using the outer scale now. The 0 scale is the outer scale. So I'm measuring with the 0 scale. The scale that starts from 0. So I put that, rotate until the baseline that I'm measuring from pass to the 0. Very important. Must pass through perfectly through the 0. And then, we measure the outer scale all the way around to this line that we're measuring to, this line over here. This line. Again, if you read it there, it's going to be, let me undo some of these and see if it will come up better. You can see again, it's 117 from the other end. You can see that? You can see 117? See there? 117. Right there. We're reading the outer scale this time. The outer scale we are using this time. And the outer scale is the one that starts at 0. And that is 110, 111, 112, passes through 113. So the angle is 130 degrees. You better go to that. Right? So that is it there. So this was 113 degrees. On there. So I think this was what? 20, so this was what? 26? Okay, for this 26. Let's do it again. One more equals better. So I don't remember. Let's see what this one down here was. I don't remember. 26, right? So this one was 26 degrees. The one down here, put the eye on the point, rotate one to 0, reading the inner scale that starts at 0. That's 41. 41 degrees. 41 degrees. And I'm supposed to add up to 360, don't it? 1 minute, yeah, 1 minute. Supposed to add up to 1 minute. Total angle of triangle is 1 minute. And they do add up to 1 minute, don't it? But all right, another example here. I could do at least one example before me leave. I know I'm doing. Let me find an example for them. All right, let's find an example for them. Here we go. Da, 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 da. More maths equals better maths every time. All right, let's see. Let's see. What do at least one? A real question. Let's do a question. All right, let's do one. Wanna do one on the screen? One or two of them before we leave, all right? All right, let me tell you the ones we're gonna do. Let's do a couple of them. So I'm gonna do this one. I want to do one that they said draw the tree. Well, I'm doing this, I'm gonna ask for the 90 and the 60. Ask for both in this one, right? Let us do one where they give you 3 sides. Let's just do a 3 sides one. You see this one now, see all these angles? You're not using a compass. You see they put the protractor in there for this one? That one you're not constructing these angles. You have to actually measure them to do this one. That's why they put the word protractor in this one. It's a protractor. We have not learned to construct those angles. All right, so 3 sides one, 3 sides. All right, so let's do these 2 questions. At least these 2 never can see where we go from here. All right, more maths equals better maths. All right, let's go. I want to split the screen. I want to split the screen. I want to get you back. All right, good. Looking good. Clear this. Get that out of you. All right, let's do this. Let's go so so one go. Okay, gone. Where is it? Where is it gone? Sure. Let's have it out of where it gone. Where are you, question? Question don't want to be done. You're gonna be done. You're gonna be done, question. By the hook or the crook. There you go. All right. So a little tip I like to give students when you're doing these questions, I like to tell them, sketch it first and then you construct. So you read the information that they want, what they want you to do, you sketch it out. You sketch it out roughly and then you construct it. So if we're to sketch this out, what I want for this question, right here, right? They want us to construct a triangle EFG. EG must be 6. So like EG must be 6. Let's put E and G down it. So EG is 6 centimeters. And then the angle FEG, F is somewhere up here turn. FEG must be 60 degrees. So the angle up here must be 60 degrees. So we're going to construct that. F is up here. That will complete the triangle. Oh, they want this angle. The angle at G must be 90. Okay, so the angle at G must be 90. So this is going to have to go all the way up here like this. It's going to have to be 90. And F is now up here. That's what we're constructing. See that? Based on the information. Then I want us to measure the length of EF, is this side, the hypotenuse, and the side of angle EFG is this one up here, which is, you know, it's going to be 30 degrees. All right, that's what they want us to construct. So always sketch it first, and sure that's what they want to do. Then you do the construction. So let's do that. So we're going to put in our 6 centimeter line first to start down here. A 6 centimeter line. To start. Then from this end, we're going to construct a 60-degree angle over this end. Open the compass a reasonable length. Lock it. Lock the compass. Let's do the construction in the ring. Draw a 60-degree arc first. Arcs, degree arc is about that. Only two arcs needed for 60 degrees. The easiest angle to construct. Rotate around here, cross that one. It's too long. Let's go back for the original one and make it a little bit longer. So 60 degree will pass through that line, right? 60 degree will pass through this line right here, this intersection. 60 degree will pass through this intersection. But we're not gonna draw it yet. But we can draw it in, but we're gonna need the 90. So gonna go all the way up there. So that's my 60 degree. And you construct 90 at the other end. Let's do it in blue. At the other end, I need to construct 90. Remember, our method of doing 90 is 60 plus 60 bisect the second 60. Right? 60 plus 60 bisect the second 60. So let's go. From here, we're going to construct a 120 degrees, 60 and 60. So a nice long 120 degree arc all the way over here first. You come to this end, cross that one first at a 60 degree arc right now. Come to this intersection, and show you at the intersection, and cross that one. What we have here is a 60 and a 60. We need to bisect the second 60. This is the second 60 up here. So this up here is the second 60. So come to this end of it, you're going to bisect it. So come up here, make an arc above it. Come to the other end of the 60. Rotate. Cross that one. When you draw a straight line from this point up through the intersection, straight up through here, and go all the way up to meet that one, you would have formed your triangle. Run out of space, but you get the picture. That never right. Coming through here, going all the way up to here. So you have a draw it and join it on paper, right? At the top here. So down here, so it'll be 90 degrees. Over here, so it'll be 60 degrees. And this will be 6 centimeters. This side is 6 centimeters. And then so measure the angle for the top. Right? Let's assume that the two lines actually met like this up at the top, just to do it for you. So the 60 degree line was like this. Like that. And the blue line, let's say the blue line is like this. And they meet at the top. And you want to measure that angle with this guy, the tractor guy. You're gonna put the eye on the point, rotate around, and let's say we're measuring from the blue line. So you rotate and make sure that you pass through the zero. Make sure the baseline pass through the zero line. See there? Pass through the zero. To make that a small. Make sure you pass through the zero. The blue line that you measure number from pass through the zero. So measure the outer scale. The zero scale is the outer scale. And that angle on this little sketch is more than 30 degrees, but the real answer for this one will be 30 degrees. But this little sketch will be 35 degrees or 35.5, let's just see. Can you see that? This little sketch will be about 35.5 right there, so you can see it. 35.5, right in between 35 and 36. But I can see that. Good. That will be the end of the question to measure those angles. That is it. That question. Or I wanted the length of EF. EF, the hypotenuse. So you do basically put the ruler on it and measure it, right? You basically just put the ruler on this line and measure it with the ruler. Simple as that. All right, let's do another. More maths equals better maths. Let's do another one. Let's do this one. And I think I want to do one with some construction, additional construction on it. Some additional parts of this question up here, right? Let's do this one down here. Sketch it before you construct it. Sketch it and then you construct it. All right? This one says use a pencil rule and a pair of compasses only. Construct a triangle PQR in which QR is, say, they only give you 3 sides. As an example, you only get 3 sides. So to do this one, I'm going to draw the line QR first. Sketch it and then construct it. 8.5. Then PQ must be 6. You must say PQ must be 6. P sum up here, the PQ over here must be 6. So I'm going to draw a line up here so that is 6 centimeters over by making a 6 centimeter arc. Then we need 7. PR is 7. PR is now 7. So I want to make a line up here. P up here. So this must be 7.5 by making an arc here. That's how we're going to construct that one. But to that, then we'll just go through and do it. Then here, I want to construct the perpendicular from perpendicular PT, such that PT is perpendicular to QR and meet QR at T. So that one now, they want us to construct this line, perpendicular from a point, from P to T. That red line they want. So they want us to do this construction. So that right here says T, and that is 90 degrees. That's what they want us to do. Perpendicular PT, construct the line PT such that PT is perpendicular to QR and meet QR at T. And after we do that, they're going to want us to measure and state the side of angle PQR, which should be right here. And they want us to tell them the length of PT after that, which is the length of this line right here, PT. All right, so let's construct it. We can construct stuff like a sketch right now. Sketch it, and then you construct it. Remember, sketch it, and then you construct it. A good habit to have. Sketch what they want, and then you construct it, all right? So put in the line PT first. 8.5 centimeters, right here. So I'm going to use the black and draw my line 0 out to 8.5. 8.5. That looks a little bit long. Let's do it over. 0 out to 8.5. 8.5. That's it. Then I need a 6 centimeter line. So I'm going to need my ruler to measure that 6 centimeters with the compass. I have to show construction lines. All right, so come to one end of the ruler with the 0. And then open it out to 6. Unlock it. Let's use the reading for the construction. Open it out to 6. Lock it. Then you come to one end and you make an arc. 6 centimeters. Everywhere on that line now is 6 centimeters. Everywhere on that arc is 6 centimeters. Then from the other end, you need 7.5. So you're going to go back on the ruler with a 0. Unlock it. And open it up to 7.5 centimeters, which is right here. Lock it. Let's change the color for that. Over this end, rotate up, or crossing that. Need it to be a little bit longer. So I'm going to have to draw about that one. I'm going to draw about the 6. Let's go back for the 6. 6 I use those too short. So let's go back for the 6. Red. Come back up here. Rotate up. Get by the 6. That point of intersection is where P is. Right here is where P is. And you just complete the triangle now. Straight line. Oh, man. Good. Straight line to the intersection. Straight line to the intersection. That's a triangle. I'm not going to put on the dimensions here. Then we need to construct the perpendicular now. Over here, we're talking about this piece in the middle. The perpendicular from P to that line. That's constructing a perpendicular from a point to a line. We did that earlier. Remember, you simulate the formation of an isosceles triangle. So I'm going to put the compass point on it, on the point P, and up here, right on the compass point. Then again, I'm going to adjust this thing and kind of test that when you make an arc, without actually drawing the arc, it will cross this line at 2 points. That's what you want. Just above. Let's make it a little bit closer and test it again. All right. Right now, if I make an arc, it will cross it at 2 points. You can still make it a little bit closer. Let's close it up a little bit more. And you test it. All right, good. So if I make an arc now, it will cross it at 2 points. Let's make that arc in red. So making that arc in red. See there? Too much. Let's go again. From here to here. And then now you want to bisect this line segment that you have just created. So again, you're gonna put one end of the compass. I need to close this up. I just need to bisect that line segment now. So like I have this line now, this line that I need to bisect. Put the compass more than half. And then make an arc down here. Come to the other end and cross that arc. I'm gonna use a blue to draw that perpendicular. When I draw this straight line through this intersection, and to that point, that's my line that is perpendicular to the line QR. And right here is T. This point now is T. And this is 90 degrees. And then down here now, we have the points Q and the point R. This distance is 7.5. What are this length down here is 8.5, as you know. And over here is 6 centimeters. And that's the line PT we have drawn. That's the line PT. Right here is T, right here, this intersection. But good. And the question wants us to measure the angle. EQR, it says. Which angle they want us to measure? Here's the question. Oh, up the top here. They want us to measure angle PQR, that's the angle down on Q. And I want us to measure the length of PT. So let's use this first to measure the angle down on Q. So rotate this guy. Put the eye on the point where you measure the angle, right at the intersection there. Make sure they're using the scale that pass through 0. This is the inner scale now. Make sure the baseline pass through 0. And that line looks like it is an angle of 120 degrees. See that? Right in the 120. That can't go 120. Oh, wrong scale. See that? It's 60 degrees. I'm supposed to be reading the inner scale. So I was get the wrong thing a while ago. By reading the wrong scale, good. It's 60 degrees. That is actually 60 degrees, right in the 60 degrees. Because I have to read the right scale, the inner scale. I almost got it wrong by reading the wrong scale. So that angle is 60 degrees. You want the length of that thing. So you can measure the length of this thing. Watch this way. Look what you can do. You can actually use your compass to do it. And stop the noise in the class. No? Now move the chair for. Class are done here. Very unruly. Lock the door, no can come out there before. You don't come class for leave. You don't come class for learn, you don't come class for leave. Some of you come class just to leave. Can measure it like that. Lock it. Then you bring the ruler and measure it on the ruler. You can do it that way as well. 0 to what? That looks like 5.2 centimeters, about 5.2. So this looks like about 5.2. I can just put the ruler on it and measure it though. That's 5.2 centimeters. That's what PT is. All right, guys. I have one more thing to show you that come on an exam paper recently, not so long ago, which was base. Actually, I said that question in base 2. So gonna practice maybe tomorrow some base calculations. Simple base calculations. Base 2, base 5, any base. All right? So basic base calculation, in particular, converting from base to decimal and vice versa. And then maybe what you would do if you get base to add and subtract. If I get base numbers to add and subtract, I just convert them back to decimal first, add them, subtract them, multiply them, whatever, and convert the result back to base. That's the approach I would use at this week. All right? If you're working in base. But a couple years ago, see, you drop a base question on a paper. Let them say, what was 9 to base 2 or something like that. All right? Something like that. So we have to, since it come an exam paper, it can come again, let's make sure that we have a class to deal with it. Even though base is something that they're teaching, first form, grade 7, but people just don't remember. So I think tomorrow we'll deal with that. Then after that, guys, every class is the exam. Every class is work. I'm not new to teach again. Everything is just over. When I revise and have some sessions, we'll come and go back over some topics and things. But generally speaking, we have sets. We have sets to do. We just had sets coming on the multiple choice. So we just pick a day one day and those sets one day. All right? That's it. All right, guys. See you all tomorrow. You guys online tomorrow. All right, cool. Bye, everybody. Bye, online students. I'm going to share the recording. Make sure you do all the
Yes, sir.
construction. Work them all over again.
Yes, sir.
All the construction we did today, make sure you go and do them over again. All right, that's it. Bye.